We would like to welcome everyone here tonight. We're excited for this annual dinner and awards banquet. We would like to give a special recognition to Mayor Brailsford from Salem and Mayor Leifson from Spanish Fork. And we would also like to ask all of our Platinum members, will you please stand up so we can recognize you? Let's give these Platinum members a round of applause.
Please stand. Please repeat the pledge with me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated.
We appreciate our venture crew, 1532. They do a lot to help our chamber throughout the year, and we just want them to know that we appreciate their efforts. I'm going to turn the first award over to Lance Wilson, who will be sworn in as the 2016 Chamber of Commerce President.
Thank you, Stacy. Okay, so please continue to eat, enjoy your meal, but we want to be respectful of your time. So we're going to begin while you're eating so that we can continue to move the program along. And I have the opportunity to present the Business of the Year Award. And it is my pleasure to do that. I'm grateful to have this opportunity. This award is voted on by the members of the Chamber of Commerce. It's an award that is chosen by you to one of our peers and friends and associates who, this individual in my eyes, is definitely deserving of this award. And I'm grateful to have this opportunity. Kevin Dunn began his career in the tire industry as an advertising sales rep for Goodyear. Now, as I was told, the story I was told says that Kevin, he was visiting a tire shop in Fillmore, Utah to sell advertising, and after visiting the store with the store owner, he discovered that the man had two locations in Fillmore and Richfield and who was interested in selling both. From that initial conversation, Kevin ended up quitting his job as an advertising sales rep and buying the two stores. From those early days, Kevin has seen many changes. Now he and his wife Janelle are the proud owners of Big O Tires franchises in Spanish Fork, Payson, American Fork, and Nephi. They employ 32 employees and have been active members of the Chamber in every community where they have a store for the last 18 years. Currently, Kevin serves as a board member here on our Spanish Fork Salem Chamber Board. He has been active in several capacities, including the Play Unplugged Committee and the Easter Egg Hunt, just to name a few. As a platinum member of the Chamber, Kevin has truly embraced the Chamber of Commerce in our community and has shown that he is a willing and gracious servant of the community. Recently, Kevin and his Spanish Fork store had a customer service opportunity with a family they were trying to help. The customer posted their experience on social media, and if I can, I'd like to just share a few of that post with you. Kevin Dunn, owner of Big O Tires, reached out to us and was very concerned about our experience. He was sincere in wanting to treat us right as customers, and most importantly to my wife and me. He let us know he was working on changing how things run to be more sensitive and understanding to female customers. I think this is a good example of how a business should be run in our community. Instead of being defensive, he is taking the opportunity to improve Big O. Thank you, Kevin Dunn. I would like to congratulate Kevin Dunn and his family and his team at Big O Tires for exemplifying the true spirit of customer service and putting the community first. What a great business we have here in our midst. Business of the Year, Kevin Dunn, Big O Tires.
Well, they told me not to take much time, and I promise I won't, but I'm really humbled by this and touched, and if anything, it motivates me to be a better servant, leader in the community, and to do all I can to live up to the examples of those in this room and those in our community who so steadfastly serve, and if I could even live up to half of the examples I've had, I would be very grateful. So we live in a wonderful community with wonderful people, and I have great examples all around me, and I'm especially blessed to have a wonderful wife from Lakeshore, Janelle over there. So we love the area, and thank you very much.
Hello, everyone. I'm Todd Dickerson. It is my pleasure this evening to present the Community Action Award. I'm a lifelong resident of this community, and I can honestly say that I can think of no other place in which I would like to live. The wonderful person that is receiving this award may not have lived here her entire life. However, she was destined to be here and leave an enormous mark on the community she has come to know, love, and ultimately serve. I find it hard to say much more about this person without making it very obvious who it is. So at this time, I'd like her to remain seated because I have a few more things I'd like to say, but I would like to award Susan Barber with the 2016 Spanish Fork Chamber of Commerce Community Action Award. As I've spent my time finding out a little more about Susan, it took me back to my childhood and reminded me of what a wonderful place this was to grow up. Susan was originally from Denver, but had strong ties to Spanish Fork as her parents were both born and raised here. She is a proud mother of 4 and have 11 grandchildren, all in which still live here in Spanish Fork. I believe that is correct? Some, but not all, of her accomplishments include co-owning and operating Western States Insurance with her husband, Doug, for many years before passing the torch to her son, Matt, much in the same way the torch was passed to Susan and her husband, Doug, from her parents. She served on the Chamber Board for many years, as well as serving as the Chamber President in 1994. She actively served the community through the Rotary Club, the Fiesta Days Committee, as well as being on the Parks and Recreation Board for the last 7 to 8 years. She is a member of the Daughters of the Pioneers and has written 2 novels since the passing of her lifelong companion 8 years ago. I must say, it really is time that somebody truly document what has come to be known as the Spanish Fork dialect. As I've read through her most recent publication, I Love Spanish Fork, I find myself just going through the pages and reading some of them over and over again. But the part where she talks about the Spanish Fork dialect just really puts a smile on my face. Words like used to could, up and went, gonna, and of course my favorites, woulda, shoulda, and coulda. If you're not asking yourself what I'm talking about right now, you definitely are a Spanish Fork native. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you our 2016 Community Action Award, Susan Barber.
Anyway, I do so appreciate this. Just is amazing to me. I never expected it, and I just thank you so very, very much.
I am so honored and excited for the opportunity to present this year's recipient of the Total Citizen Award to Stacy Beck, because Stacy Beck is nothing but amazing. So, come over here. So, like, oh, surprise!
I didn't see that coming.
He's like, hey, did you guys hide this? They asked me to keep this short as well, but I actually had a little giggle and laugh when they asked me to present this award to Stacy, because when I think about Stacy, I actually always envision her in like a super suit and a cape. She's like, she's so amazing to me. So the short list of her accomplishments would include as a mother, a wife, a businesswoman, a chamber member for 8 years, serving on the chamber board and as chamber president, and now a councilwoman, yay. And that's the short list. Wow, okay, so beyond in addition to her achievements, to me it's who Stacy is that I find most admirable. Stacy is dedicated to a greater cause and to serve our community. She is genuine. she is unique. I find the way that she does things, she just creates elevated thinking. She does the most amazing things in the most unique ways. And she's inviting. I love that Stacy, you always have a place at Stacy's table. Everybody's invited, and she includes everyone. And so I love that about Stacy. And she's humble. She always doesn't hold herself in too high of esteem. She always respects other people's opinions, and she is just a humble person. And so she's one of these people who I'm just so honored to know. She's an amazing role model. She's changed a lot of lives, and including mine. And so I just wanted to express our thank you for everything you've done, Stacy. Our love and appreciation to you and to your husband, Chris, and to your family for everything you do and who you are, because you're amazing.
Thank you, Wendy.
Thank you, Stacy.
Well, I'm speechless, which is kind of rare. And this means so much coming from Wendy Osborne, who I just think she walks on water. What she's done in our community is amazing. And she said that there's always a spot at our table. Feel free to come and sit at the table. Usually there's no food there, but please come. So thank you.
Well, Wendy was just up here, and she's done so many amazing things for our students. So thank you, Wendy. I have the privilege of giving the Business Education Partnership Award, and I want you to know that there are many educators that get to have their voice on this award. And as you know, at Christmas time, we have a great need, and maybe a much bigger need than you know. At any given time, we can have up to 1,500 to 2,000 students that are homeless. And what that means is they don't have a residence to live in. And we had a lot of need, and Tabitha's Way was one that stepped up and gave many meals at Thanksgiving time as well as at Christmas time. We appreciate that. Thank you. We also had many businesses that filled out little cards of need, and some of those were shoes, and some were coats. Some were just really basic needs that many of us don't realize. In November, I always reach out to our various schools and ask them what needs they can see that's going on in their schools. I had one that came back that said this, and I hope I can get through it. We have a family that had their electricity turned off for a few weeks until we found out. We reached out to a donor, and they paid for the electricity to be turned back on. Then we had a family that had to move in with the grandparents, a mom with 5 children. She's been riding a bus to try and get to work, but that wasn't working well because she had a hard time getting her kids to school, then riding the bus into work, and then riding back home and being there in time for kids. And this particular principal reached out and said, "Would you know of anybody that could provide transportation?" And you know, that's a big order to fill. And I reached out to a few people, and these are 2 businesses that we want to recognize. And I know there were many more that were involved, but this wasn't the only thing. I reached out and asked at the last minute for tires. We had another family that didn't have tires for their vehicle. We had so much need. And 2 individuals, and honestly there were hundreds that we were trying to take care of. I'd like Matt Barber and Kerry Robarge, his wife Judy, to come forward. And honestly, this isn't the first time. Every year, these 2 businesses step forward, and maybe you can even say a little bit about that. We'll yeah. And then we'll take pictures.
Well, this is very nice, and we really appreciate it. But this is the absolute last thing that this is about. I mean, if you think about what she just said, 1,500 homeless students, that is unbelievable. That's a high school of kids who don't have a place to go. The need is so overwhelming, and Lana and I talk about it every year. And this year was worse because we had so many just tiers of how do you even pick one to try and help out. She mentioned there's hundreds of people that get involved in the car giveaway that we do every year. So the fact that we're standing up here, that it's not us. There's a lot of you here that help with that. I remember 7 years ago or so, might even been a little bit longer, Carrie Robarge and I, we grew up together. And, you know, we've been doing business in town forever, and we went to lunch one day, and we talked about what's something we can do that's bigger than us to give back. And ever since that conversation, we've had so many treasured moments and blessings, and it's really about the community that we live in. So this award is really for everyone that lives here. And the needs that Lana talked about, we're just two businesses. There's so many more that could be helped. And we've got bigger plans in terms of how we're going to organize better next year because there's so many needs. So thank you. We appreciate it. But it isn't about us. So.
Helen Keller once said, alone we can give so little, but together we can give so much. And this award, I know Matt kind of spoke on the same things, but it's for the community because there's so many in our little community that supported us. I can look around the room and I can say Dickerson Automotive, I can say Big O Tires, Wiggy Wash, Western States, Rockies. I mean, I can just go on, and that's what this is about, is enrolling people in our community to do something big and to change someone's life. And that's what we do every year, and I believe that it blesses us more than it blesses the actual recipient. There's not a dry eye in the building, and it just means so much to us to be able to provide something with something that they need. And so Matt, thank you for your partnership. He does a lot, and thank you to everybody else. And I know I've missed a ton of people that support us, but that just gives you an idea of, you know, people in our local Spanish Fork Salem Chamber that contribute to this cause. So this is for you guys because you support us in that.
I don't need to read this. I've done 20 awards at this banquet. And tonight it's very special, and I'm just as proud of this one tonight for the gentleman I'm going to honor. In fact, I could honor this whole family. This family has been involved in our community, Spanish Fork community, for many years. And anytime I've asked them to help, it's always, yes, what can I do? Tonight, I'd like to honor one member of that family that's worked very hard. I've known him since he worked to get his Eagle Scout. He was a neighbor 3 doors down. Worked hard to get his Eagle Scout. In fact, you're looking at Mayor Latham, he was the Scoutmaster, so don't, but they made it, the Scouts made it. But anyway, then I seen him move forward to go on a mission, move forward to come home and get married to a lovely gal, and he's been a very successful businessman. Danny Higginson has been involved in all types of sports, helping our youth from baseball, football, some basketball, City League, Accelerator League, on and on and on, many, many hours. And he worked with these young men to accomplish many things. He served on my Economic Development Board as the chairman. We have about 19 businesses empty, and we got about 95% of them full today, with slogans, with friendship, and encourage people to shop both Salem and Spanish Fork. And I thank him for that. His wife has been over Little Miss Salem for many years. Their sister-in-laws and brother-in-laws. He helps today with his brother Joel, who is a Skyhawk football coach. Always involved and always doing something in our community. The story here I'm going to repeat. A few years ago, they had an accelerated team down in St. George. In fact, he's got to head out tonight to St. George to go down there to do some coaching. But this young boy come over to the ball field that lived in St. George, special need child. And he wanted to be on a team. And they kind of looked at him, but you know what he did? He brought him in the dugout, put one of their hats on this young man, and this young man gave high fives, and he cheered, and he rooted for that team, and he finally was on a team. And a winning team. And when the game was over, he didn't play, but he was on a team. And he didn't know anybody's name when he walked across that field. When he left, he knew the player's name, the coach's names, and he was on a natural high going home. That's the kind of person that I'm glad to call a friend. So Danny, come on up and get your award, my buddy. Danny Higgis. Yeah, you got to say something. For once, you're not going to say something right.
That's an honor. Obviously, anytime the mayor taught me years ago, he said that the whole world the whole world spins on volunteerism, and I've taken that to heart. My grandma Higginson, who lives just up here on 115 East or 700 East and 115 North, a block up, she was the grandmother at the Canyon Elementary School. She went and read to the kids all the way up till her 92nd birthday. And what a great example. My folks, Grandpa Gustin in Spanish. So it's easy. It's easy to serve others, and I love doing it. And I've been served by many people my whole life, and love to give back where I can. So thank you.
You know, it's a great honor to be able to be here and to give these awards out. And, you know, I picked an individual here that has been a stalwart here in our community. I've known him pretty much my whole life. I remember the first time he used to do a lot of work with my dad. My dad was a general contractor, and the individual I'm talking about is Vern Tanner of Triple T, the founder of Triple T. And I remember my dad always loved to give nicknames to everybody around, and he'd always call Vern Tinner the Tanner. So that's all I knew him by for a long time growing up. I didn't know he had a first name. So, but I want to tell you a little bit about Vern. Vern was born in Payson, grew up there, went to school, met his beautiful high school sweetheart Diane, and they had 5 children. Moved to Spanish Fork right after they graduated, and has been here ever since. Now, Vern's been very productive in the city. He was worked for the Sheet Metal Union for 18 years, and in 1974, I believe it is, they founded Triple T. And I remember going up to their garage and picking up stuff from my dad. They were working out of their garage, and then they had a little warehouse over in Provo, and then they bought the old Spanish Fork lumber building there on the north end of Main Street, and they've been there ever since and been a part. Vern was on the city council in I believe 72 to 75, and then he served a term one-year term in 77 when Ken Pinniger became a county commissioner. And so he served on different boards there for the city. He was on the sanitation board, the rodeo, I think he was over at Memorial Building. And I remember I read a deal where our sanitary, the garbage was in the red, and after a couple of years that Vern had oversaw that, they got back in the black, and so that's just the type of person he is. He's been involved with the JCs. They've done a lot of work with the Canyon View Park, the ballparks, just been an active part of Spanish Fork and been a real friend. I had the opportunity to work with him as a temple worker for years and years, and it was always a joy to see Vern, and he always wanted to know about the city, what was going on, and he is. And so I really appreciate Vern, and you guys might see him. He drives around that little white Corvette. Now, I've tried to see if I could borrow that sometime, but I don't think that's ever going to happen. But so I just want to appreciate how much we appreciate Vern Tanner and his lovely wife, Diane. So, Vern.
Spanish Fork has had some very active city council members. I remember back into the 60s when Highway 6 was going to go to Springville, and Mayor Brockbank's council worked and worked and worked until they got Highway 6 coming to Spanish Fork. And that was a key thing. I just married, moved in my first home, and they wanted to put sidewalks all over the city. Young couples can't afford sidewalks, but they build it. Look at it now. Every street's beautiful. Curb and gutter everywhere. Some cities still don't have it. But I'd like to thank those city councils that served over the years for what they've done. They put in countless hours. Mayor of Salem, same thing over there. They put in a lot of hours. I appreciate them, and I think we ought to congratulate them. Thank you. It's been a pleasure to serve in this city and had our business here, and I appreciate my family and my wife, Diane. She's put up with me and all my bad habits for about 59 years, so that's about enough.
Lance and I have had an interesting year, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, it's been a good year.
It's been a good year. We found out last November that Carrie Hanks was going to move on to a different position, and we were both scared to death, to say the least. Because I said I would be president, because I thought I just was going to smile and wave for a year with Carrie. That I could do that. And then she's going to retire and move on, and so we had to hire someone. I had never been in a hiring interview before. So I remember leaning on to Lance thinking, okay, you've hired people. Lead the way. Like, do you remember that?
I do, yeah.
We talked about it, and I always respected and went with his gut reaction on every decision he made. And then come May, we needed to go through that interview process again, so I've done 2 now. And we hired a new director's assistant, Heather Youd. Also, at the beginning of May, our past president announced that she was moving to San Diego. I just thought, could this year go in any other direction? And by May, I thought, at that awards banquet in January, I'm going to award Lance Wilson that President's Award, because I don't know how I would have got through it all without Lance. And he's solid. He has a no-nonsense approach. He has a get-it-done attitude. His support, his ability to call things like they are, was more appreciated than I believe he will ever understand. He is able to identify problems, resolve conflict, and lead. I truly believe this year was doable because of him, and he's going to be an awesome president in 2016. So Lance Wilson, there you go.
Thank you.
1 year ago at this banquet, when I found out that I, as the executive director, got to give an award I knew immediately who it was going to be given to. There was no one else who, for 365 days, has taken the place of that person that I thought of. We all know the words, "Mamas, don't let your babes grow up to be cowboys." Well, this guy's mom not only let him grow up to be one, whether she liked it or not, but he grew up and has nationally earned the title Mr. Rodeo, about as cowboy as you can get. We all know him for his hats, boots, and horses, but I'll bet there are a few here who don't know the man that for 2 decades dressed as Santa Claus and entertained families and other holiday party groups throughout the area. He'd take off the boots, the cowboy hat, and put on the snow boots and the red hat and the beard and become one of Santa's best elves. And because of the type of man he is, all the proceeds he earned would go to the city's first responders to help them provide for families in need at Christmas time. He has brought nothing but pride and progress to the rodeo grounds for the 25 years he worked here, first starting out as the assistant golf course superintendent. As the executive director of the Utah State Fair, I had the privilege of going to the NFR meetings in Las Vegas. And among the rodeos like Calgary Stampede, San Antonio, Pendleton, and Denver, you would always hear Fiesta Days mentioned in the same sentences. Tonight, my Executive Director Award goes to a man who has been a part of my family since I was a lot younger, and a man who is truly loved by my family and by everybody who meets him. A man who has brought honor and the best cowboys in America to a hometown to grow up in and practice their sport, and the others the best place in America and the most beautiful to compete in. Stephen Money, will you join me on the podium? He's got his superhero belt on.
Thank you. This is very, very rewarding to me. It really is, it means a lot. I've known Clark and his mom and dad for all my life, and always get to haggle around with Jim once in a while and that, but this is what it's all about. I'd really like to thank my wife and my family for the support that they've gave me. When Mr. Dave Euler asked me to be over the rodeo, we was just a little jackpot rodeo. We added $500 per event. And the cowboys would just work Spanish Fork if they had time to make it. And I told him, I said, I'd like to be bigger than Salt Lake and Ogden someday. And he said, well, go for it. They put the pants on the same way we do. We now are bigger than both of them rodeos. We had 15,000 per event. We've had 40 consecutive sellouts. And this year at the National Finals Convention down in Las Vegas in December, we received some outstanding awards. We received first place in the Justin Best Footing Award for the best ground. But the best thing that we received that is so nice was there's over 700 rodeos in the Women's Professional Rodeo Association. Spanish Fork Fiesta Days received #1 rodeo of the year. We beat out rodeos like Pendleton, Salinas, and Waco, Texas, San Antonio, Cheyenne, the granddaddy of them all, and we beat them, didn't we, Mayor? We beat them. It was really something to get that award, and a lot of the reasons we get that award is you people down there. During the month of July on the 24th, you know, Salt Lake and Ogden and Spanish Fork is going on. And if you ever go down to Spanish Fork and look at the pasture, we have cowboys sometimes stay there for a month. And they love it because of Main Street and the businesses there where they can gas up and get back on the road.
they do their laundry, they do all their business. So now they're camping there the entire time, and it's called the Mormon Run. And they camp at Spanish Fork, and when they work Ogden, they go up and work it, and they come back and stay to Spanish Fork. And the same way with Salt Lake. Some of them even run to Cheyenne and come back to Spanish Fork. And a lot of the reason is because of you people down there, the way they're treated when they are in town. And they all tell me that they've just never seen a town like this. And on this ward, I do know that every person in here could qualify for this exact ward in here. I'm just lucky that Clark picked me this year, because everybody could receive this ward, and this is very special to me because we're going to hang up the cowboy boots this year. So I appreciate it, and thank you very, very much.
Okay, is this all of the outgoing board members? Okay. We just have a plaque for each one of you, our appreciation for serving. It was a little weird to go into our 7 a.m. meeting the first Thursday of January and not have like Mike. I think you've been at every meeting that I've been at in the last 7 years, right?
That's probably right.
How was it sleeping in that first Thursday?
I felt good.
Good, yeah. And Aaron, you've been there for a while. All of you, Wiggy, it's been fun. So we just want you all to know how much we appreciate your service, and let's give them a round of applause. Okay, I am just going to give a quick year in review. We began 2015 hiring a new director, Clark Karras, a local boy, but we did find out Greek runs through his blood. He reminded us that often, and we have that in our minds forever. And he has a big heart. He's put his own touch on how the chamber runs. We started the year with 174 members. We are ending it with 240. So we are up 66 members. And I would like to give Clark a round of applause for that. Yeah. We also saw our first presidential and diamond level members in history. Our chamber strives to promote its members and the business community, while also being an active member volunteering and giving back financially to both our communities. In April, thousands of children, toddlers to preteens, enjoyed the annual Easter egg hunt down at the sports park. That's an event that the Chamber of Commerce hosts, but we can't do that without all of the business and volunteers. Besides having thousands and thousands of eggs scattered around the park, we gave around 440 Easter baskets and 44 bikes. The annual Chamber and Rotary Golf Tournament was in May. We moved it back, well, we as in the Rotary as well, to May so it wouldn't rain, and I don't think the rain came in until a little bit later in the afternoon. We had a great event. People were able to golf. We worked with Doug Smith, who had 2 holes-in-one for cars and 1 for $10,000. We had a full slate of teams and increased the scholarships from $1,000 to $1,500, and we were able to give over 20 scholarships to seniors in Nebo School District. Also in May, like I mentioned, we hired Heather Youd. She's a graduate of Spanish Fork High School and currently lives in Elk Ridge. Besides bringing a wealth of knowledge of how to run things, she's willing to go the extra mile during non-typical business hours, has brought fresh ideas to our chamber, and has been an absolute pleasure to work with. New networking is averaging 45 to 60 attendees. One of our favorites was this summer when we invited our local police officers and their canine crew, and we had lunch with the Lord. The Lord is actually their dog. That was fun. 4 members significantly increased their memberships, 3 going to platinum, and 1 to diamond. We now have the largest number of platinum members in history. Both Salem and Spanish Fork City included community partnerships in their budgets, and we appreciate the continued support from both cities and look forward to working with them in the future. Spanish Fork Farmers Market is the largest farmers market south of Salt Lake City. At one time, we had 57 vendors and people were parking blocks away to walk to the farmers market. Buyers come from all over the state. The whole idea of the market is to get people to come to our city and then shop local, eat in our town, and we think that we've accomplished this. The market was a revenue producer, and we already have vendors calling and emailing wanting to reserve their spot for next year. Now, Play Unplugged, we just had our second year with Play Unplugged, and we had Dawn Davis as our chair director over Play Unplugged, and she had a great committee. On that committee was Colt, and he works with State Farm Insurance and found out about a $25,000 grant. He applied for it, we were chosen, and then we were all over Facebook where the entire country could vote for who could be awarded. They were choosing 20 recipients, and over a month's time, we found out that we were awarded $25,000 to the Play Unplugged program, which we've put in the bank, and we will put that towards keeping that program running here in Spanish Fork for as long as we can. The Chamber always likes to give back. We gave money to buy champion beef at Utah State Junior Livestock. Money was donated to the South County Animal Shelter to help provide spaying and adoption costs for 20 cats. We made a donation of $1,500 to Park Elementary School for their Leader in Me program. This program supports students from kindergarten to 6th grade who are learning leadership skills from Stephen Covey's The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Skills are incorporated into their day-to-day lessons, and the results are inspiring. In December, we were able to give Wendy Osborne at Tabitha's Way a $1,500 check to help with the needs there that she helps provide in our community. And to wrap it up, the first Thursday morning of each month at 7 a.m., our chamber board meets. As president, I shared last year at our annual retreat that I loved books, and in that retreat I brought a lot of different leadership books, and we talked about our favorite books and books we could read throughout the year. And so every month I chose an MVP from our board and gave everyone a book. So the 3 MVPs I want to acknowledge tonight is Lance, Clark, and Heather. You're going to go out with a book. I love books. So these 3 have just been integral parts of our chamber, and I just want to recognize them, and we look forward to continue working together and growing. So you 3, come on up. There you go.
Thank you.
Too little? There you go. This is just my appreciation to each of you, and I appreciate everything. I think we had a great year, so thank you.
Okay. Now comes the fun part. Now comes the installation of our executive board, who I have to thank every single one of them, and I look forward to working with them in this coming year. This past year has been an absolute roller coaster straight up, and been an absolute thrill, and couldn't have done it without these people. And I would like to have Todd Dickerson come up from Dickerson Automotive. Todd is our newly elected vice president. I would like Lance Wilson to please come forward. And as we all know, when we're done with this, Lance actually will be the president of the Spanish Fork Salem Area Chamber of Commerce. And the past president, Stacy Beck, with Utah Valley Magazine. We're not losing the beauty of the executive board, but if you would come over here as well, and I get to read some secret handshake and everything else.
Okay.
No, but if you would all raise your arm to the right square. I now charge you, the Executive Board of Directors of the Spanish Fork Salem Chamber of Commerce, with the responsibility of governing the Chamber. You are to meet frequently to conduct the affairs of the Chamber. You are to establish policy and procedure, and you are to ensure that the financial needs of the Chamber of Commerce are met by assisting in the fundraising and with Chamber membership. You are to actively promote the Chamber to our communities and actively participate in Chamber events. With your acceptance of this election and invitation to serve, you assume the responsibility of representing the membership of this Chamber and perform your duties to the best of your abilities. If you can accept this charge, please each of you say, "I will."
I will.
Congratulations. May I present the Executive Board of Directors of the Spanish Fork Salem Area Chamber of Commerce. It actually seems like they should be having me make promises, not them. And now I am privileged enough to do the installation of our newly elected board members. I actually will go through, though, and read each of the board members, some of them already being sworn in before, but those that have not been, if they would please come forward. We have Brady Amundson of ServPro, who has been serving. You don't have to do it again, Brady. Okay. I do have to say, though, one of the best things to come out of Play Unplug, I would like Brady and Gracie to please stand. This is one of the best things to come out of Play Unplug. And we know Gracie will appreciate the $25,000 in order of marrying Brady. But that is one of the amazing things that can come out of this chamber. It's just incredible. Chris Baird of Serve Daily. Chris was set to retire, but ran again. Chris is in Salem, or not Salem, but Payson right now with somebody getting a smile makeover. We have John Christiansen that represents Mike McKell, John Christiansen, I know they're back there. We have Don Davis, who is on her way. We have Kevin Dunn. We have Matthew Harrison. And Matt, if you would be the first to come up and take your spot on the stage. Matt Harrison of MLH Heating and Air Conditioning. We have Monty Hedren of Culver's, who was newly elected. We have Nick Jones. Nick is our representative on our finance committee, and Nick, his grandmother passed away, and our hearts are with Nick and also with Christy Simons, our representative from Salem. They both lost their grandmother. We have Katrina Kimball, who needs to come up and come forward. We have David Kincaid, who only found out today that he won. Apparently, I took more care in calling those who are not on stage than those who would be on stage. And we have the wealth of the intellectual knowledge that is back, and my heart beats smoother, and that is Brenda Lydiard, if she will come forward. We have Jess Mendenhall. If Dr. Mendenhall would come forward. We have Paul Rogers, who has served on our board and still does. We have Aaron Stern, one of our Main Street owners, and let's see, what is it? My Sister's Closet. And we have Adam Walker, who has been serving, and we appreciate Adam. Those of you who are newly elected, if you would raise your arm, right arms to the square. Right. Okay. I now charge you, the Board of Directors of the Spanish Fork Salem Area Chamber of Commerce, with the responsibility of governing the chamber. You are to meet frequently to conduct the affairs of the chamber. You are to establish policy and procedure, and you are to ensure the financial needs of the Chamber of Commerce, that they are met by assisting in fundraising and with chamber membership. You are to actively promote the chamber to our communities and actively participate in chamber events. With the acceptance of this election and invitation to serve, you assume the responsibility of representing the membership of the Spanish Fork Salem Area Chamber of Commerce and performing your duties to the best of your abilities. If each of you can accept this charge, please say, "I will." Congratulations. May I present those who were elected and the rest, those who make up the board of 2016 for the Chamber of Commerce. Thank you.
Lance and I would like to make an announcement that our executive board came up with another way to give back. I will read this, then you, and then. Okay. The Spanish Fork Salem Area Chamber of Commerce is pleased to help downtown businesses improve building facades through this grant program. Grants are provided to selected projects to assist businesses and property owners to help improve their facades, exterior paint, exterior lighting, storefront modifications, or other improvements that enhance the structure's outward appearance.
Applicants should meet the following eligibility qualifications. Businesses must have Main Street frontage and be located between Center Street and 400 North. Buildings must be at least 30 years old. Business or building owner must match every $1 of grant with $1 of other funds spent on eligible improvements with a maximum of $1,500 in grants from the Chamber of Commerce. Projects must result in significant exterior improvements.
The following project criteria will be considered in selecting projects: improvement needs, perceived impact in the immediate area, conformity to the architectural style of the structure, and project cost. We will be mailing out this application to all businesses in that said area.
Correct.
So you wrap that.
Yeah. Well, in a nutshell, if we can just kind of wrap this up, we had the opportunity this last year, 2015, to be visited by an organization, the American Architectural Association. I hope I got that right. And they came in and they reviewed our downtown, our historic downtown specifically, which we identified as Center Street to 400 North. And they gave us a myriad of ideas and suggestions, recommendations, spent an entire week in our community. And one of the recommendations that they gave to us was to try and come up with some way to incentivize businesses and property owners to improve their downtown storefront facades. And as a Chamber of Commerce, and I really have to recognize Stacy because this was her idea, this was her brainchild, but we came together and came up with the idea that we wanted to try and put our money where our mouth was and use some of the funds that we have been able to generate as a Chamber of Commerce and help the businesses in our community. We feel that's what a Chamber of Commerce should do. That's what we're all about, is helping businesses. And so we are excited to begin this year, 2016, with this new grant program, and we are excited to invite all businesses in that criteria to apply for the grant, and we're looking forward to awarding 3 businesses with up to $1,500 towards exterior improvements on their buildings. Thank you, Stacy.
And before you wrap it up, our person came in.
They did.
So.
We want to recognize one more.
Don Davis, you just snuck in. And I waited till the very last minute. Come on up, Don. Dawn is being awarded the 2015 Business Person of the Year Award. This was also voted on. Dawn actually works in Payson, which is weird, but that's where her employer is for Gunnarsson Dental. And she is just coming here from a smile makeover that they just had a big contest for and have announced that to their winners. And we just wanted to make sure that she came here and was able to get this award tonight. She does the marketing and PR for Gunnarsson Dental. Let me just say a little bit about Dawn, and then I'll let you say a couple words. So be thinking. Dawn Davis is a leader, and leadership is influence. As I have seen Dawn through the years at ribbon cuttings and Business of the Months, she is a supporter of local business and its employees. She's always bringing a gift to the Business of the Month and ribbon cuttings, welcoming everyone to our community. She oversees a lot, and like I mentioned earlier, one of her committees she volunteered to head up this year was the Play Unplugged program. And I'm sure Play Unplugged looks super easy to anyone not really involved. But it is a big, big project, and I don't think anyone could have done it better than Dawn. Her leadership, her insight, just bringing unity, getting a committee together, it was a lot of work. They went to every single elementary in Spanish Fork to launch the Play Unplugged program within a 4-week period. Several days, you guys did what, 3 assemblies? To kids, and just got them motivated and announcing the Play Unplugged program. And so we couldn't have done that without you. So Dawn is great at unifying a group, motivating and inspiring. So congratulations on Person of the Year.
I had no idea. I was just told, hurry up and get here. So, so we ran. But thank you. There are so many people here who deserve this, and this isn't just for me. I can't do what I do without people like you standing beside me, so thank you. And I appreciate this. Thank you very much.
All right, I realize that I am what keeps you from getting home. So I'm going to make this as quick as I can. And we talked about this, how we wanted this event to go smoothly, but we wanted it to go quickly as well. Before I begin, I just really want to tell everyone how much, what a pleasure it is to be a part of this organization. I truly feel like I'm among friends. We go to activities, we go to events during the day, weekends, whatever is going on, I just feel like I'm among friends, and that's really the feeling I get wherever I go in Spanish Fork, and that's a blessing. That truly is an opportunity and a blessing to enjoy. Before I begin as well, I'd like to really take this moment to thank my wife who's here. She's an amazing woman, and she supports me in everything I do. She is really what makes me who I am, and I wouldn't be here without her. And my father is here as well, and I need to take a moment and just thank Steve Wilson. What a great dad I have. I've said this before, but he has always taught me to be anxiously engaged in a good cause, and I feel like that was the best example I could have from a father. So thank you, Melanie and Dad. I feel humbled to be trusted by you, my peers, in such a well-respected organization. I look back over the years that I've been involved on the Chamber Board, and I see past presidents, some of whom are here, Mike Mendenhall and Carrie Robarge, Brad Tanner, Becky McConnell, and Stacy Beck. They have certainly set a high standard for what is expected, and to see where our chamber is today, it is a direct reflection of their excellent stewardships. I hope to continue in their footsteps. As we close tonight and look forward to this year, 2016, I will ask each of you in attendance tonight, whether you are a member of our Chamber of Commerce or an honored guest, what are you currently doing to make others around you better? What are you doing in 2016 to make a difference in the life of someone else? You've seen so many awards and recipients be given, awards given and recipients come up here and be honored, and it was because they were looking for ways to help other people. And that's really what this is all about, is how can we help other people, make other people better. At this very event, past presidents have talked about the Shop Local program, or getting involved in the community, or the needs to bring more businesses to our city. These and other ideas have proven successful and helped our communities of Salem and Spanish Fork prosper. These and other ideas have, but how do we really make a difference in the success of an individual or their business? A couple of thoughts that I wrote down were, as a chamber, we hold a monthly noon networking luncheon. Do you go? When you go, do you look for new faces to introduce yourself to? Do you reach out to a neighboring business owner that could be benefited from an afternoon networking with other businesses and invite them to come? There are ribbon cutting events. There are Business of the Month celebrations, the annual Easter egg hunt, farmers market, Main Street trick or treat, Winter Lights parade, Play Unplugged, and more and more and more. Do you participate? Are you involved? Do you look for opportunities to reach out to others and include them in these events that will help them enlarge their circle of influence? Can we learn someone's name that we have never met before, or what their business is? Can we do a better job of patronizing someone's business and refer others to support them as well? My challenge in 2016 is that we all focus more on the success of others and how to help them succeed. I challenge all of us to reach out and not only use their services, but get to know them better as an individual, as a chamber member, or as a fellow citizen. Become their friend. We are all on the same team. As a young man, and I just have to share this story because I really believe this is what our communities are all about. As a young man, I played a lot of baseball. I played down on the high school baseball field, which is now Nelson Field, home of the Mighty Dons. And during practice, every time a player made an error, Coach Shue or Coach Whites or Smokey would holler out, "Go give Speedy 5." We would then race to the outfield wall where there was painted the motto, "Home of Pride and Progress." Flanked on either side of this motto were the life-size character of Speedy, our hometown mascot. We would then slap his outstretched hand and run back to our position. Now, I'm not admitting that I ever made any errors, but those of us that did, as we would run and sprint out to the outfield wall, and I'd look at that motto, Home of Pride and Progress, I couldn't help but feel that I was a part of something bigger than myself. Even bigger than me, or bigger than my baseball team. I felt like I was representing my community, and I took pride in that and what that stood for. It meant something to me to play for Spanish Fork, to be a member of Spanish Fork. 20 years later, Speedy is now gone. The outfield wall has changed. The motto, Home of Pride and Progress, is seldom seen around town like it used to be. But that motto still rings true today. We still take pride in what we do. We still strive for progress and prosperity. We stand for something bigger than ourselves. We represent Spanish Fork and Salem. We represent the best chamber of commerce anywhere in the state. And we represent a code, or a value, a belief that in our everyday lives we seek for excellence, and we also seek for the excellence of others. May we prosper in 2016 is my hope and my desire. Thank you and good night. Sorry, it's not good night.
It's not quite.
Come on,
I've got to
let's
make
go.
sure. Okay, this is Lance's to take home and beat his children. No, this is Lance's to represent that he is the president and going to guide us in the next year. This is Stacy Beck's council person, Stacy Beck, and the night will end with us attaching this and asking her to please come up and take this and place it somewhere where she promises not to hit Chris with it. But I couldn't ask for two more incredible mentors in my life other than Councilman Mendenhall as well. But we're about to begin a ride. And those of you, okay, the flowers that are there, may have to take out driver's licenses. Whoever's birthday is closest to today gets to take the flowers home. If there's 2 of you, we'll let you fight over them. But please take those home rather than leave them here, but the birthday that is closest to today.
Okay. All right. With this, we are adjourned. Good night.